Hello friends, get ready to do a beautiful watercolor painting. You ready to join in? All right, let's do this. I am starting with a Sharpie, but most of my students are gonna wanna start with a pencil. All right, so what I did is I researched on the internet waterfall scenes, and I found the 10 most beautiful waterfalls of Iceland. Guide to Iceland, ooh, makes me wanna go there. How about you? All right. First thing, we're gonna plan out. I see that they use rule of thirds, so about 1/3 down, we're gonna do our horizon line, the line separating the sky from the land. Now I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna follow along. So we're gonna about 1/3 of the way, about there, we're gonna start our horizon line. Oh my goodness, I'm using the wrong end. Ha, very funny, jokes make. All right, I'm coming across about a little further off in the middle. I'm gonna go up and down, do a hill. And then I see I have a layering or overlapped another area. If I'm going too fast, remember you can always pause this video and then stop. I'm gonna have this hill end here and come towards us. This is the cool part. You get to do some rocks and some waterfalls that come down with some lines going down. And you're gonna have some mist there, some sideways lines. Just gonna come across. Now your waterfall is gonna have some rocks here. Oops, sorry about that. And then you're gonna come across and have some sideways lines to show some water, some rocks here. We can spend a little longer on that later. I'm just trying to map out and plan this scene really fast. And then my cliff edge is gonna have some more rocks here. Now I'm shading. Now I'm gonna stop and have you guys look at what I'm looking at here. So if you look on the internet, to use the World Wide Web to research, you're gonna have all these amazing photographs of somewhere that I now want to travel. How about you? Iceland. And how to teach my class? To start with rocks. And from those rocks, you would do some lines going down in the direction you want your waterfalls to go. All right, now the waterfalls are going to come right off the page. Let's go figure the ground where something's really close in the foreground. I'm going to do some wiggly lines, elements of art and principles of design. I'm going to do some circles here for some flowers in the foreground, and some lines up and down to show the grasses in the foreground that are going to be the closest. Okay, so that's your grassy area. This is your rocky area here. There's some black rocks and some grass. Okay, we're going to quickly finish this so we can spend this lesson on the painting. Okay, you want to show the end of the hill where it ends. Some hills in the distance. A little couple bumping down, some bumps. Okay, and then the water. I'll go back and forth to show that's water. We've got some land coming across. And this is going to go way further in the distance, so you look way back. We're going to fuzz that out and work with our darkest dark. All right, then sign your name. Let's get started on painting. All right, I'm going to bring the paints closer to my art. And what we're going to do is start with the sunset. Let's look at the sunset again. Let's get your lightest color. So I'm going to use the water with yellow. Okay. And we're going to start right on the horizon line where the sun is dipping down. Say you go over onto your hill. It's okay. We're going to do the hill with a darker tone. And that's why we're starting with the water. I'm going to come right across my hill, which we're going to do darker later. Okay, what we're going to do when we do the sky, we're going to reflect that sky color in the water for dimension in your art. Okay, in the waterfalls and in that lovely area there. All right, I started with yellow. Next, I'm going to go to what you guys know is my favorite, sunset, because when I became a Christian and I wanted some proof that Jesus Christ is Lord, God spoke to me through a sunset, a beautiful pink sunset. And I was on the top of a volcano in Antigua, Guatemala, for a winter term course there with Stetson University. It was this amazing sunset. Okay, so I'm dabbing on the pink. I'm gonna finish my sky. Now that I have the pinks, I'm using all these different pinks. I'm going back and forth. I wanna make sure I added a little purple in there, right? So I'm getting darker as it goes up, slowly adding tones or shades. And now if it's not blending, see I just dripped lots of what on there, guys. You guys know me, I'm gonna use the control drip. All right, so now we got all these lovely colors here. We're going to reflect them in the waterfalls, and in the water right here, the little waterfall, this little body of water. All right, we're almost getting ready to drip it. The control drip. You ready to rock it? Almost. Let's rock it in a moment. Let me get a little more of the pinks. Okay, you guys are following along doing pink. That's awesome. Say you don't actually like pink and purple sunsets. Maybe you're going to do yours red and orange. That's your personal expression. You can all add your favorites. I'm adding a little blue with the purple as I get darker here at the horizon line. All right, now I'm going to use a little bit of that dark blue, go down, go across. Ooh, so we're getting nice different shades. All right, now my water is puddling. So what are we going to do? Look at the direction the clouds are going, the sky's going. We're going to rock it. This, my friends, is called the control drip painting technique. So we're going to go side to side. All right. I'm rocking it side to side, as are you. I have my tissue there. No, I'm not going to rock it on my computer and break it, peeps. Nor should you. You actually should not even have your technology on the table with you as you do this. So you see that drip? If yours is not dripping and you're not rocking it, I kind of tell my students, kind of like a race car. You're driving it down, you're driving it across. Which direction are you going to rock your drip for the control drip? And do you need a tissue there to rock it on? Or are you going to rock it on to the table, and then wipe off the table when you're done? I'm rocking the yellow up now towards the sky. See the direction? And now back sideways. Ooh, I like the way it's puddling now. Now I'm going right through the hill again. Remember, reminding you. Because we're going to work on the background first, then we're going to layer or overlap the foreground. All right, we're going to finish this ASAP as soon as possible. Mixing up my water now, and I'm going to go for the greens. I'm going to go from dark green, adding 3 greens, mixing it up like soup, and I don't want the brown to get in the green, so I'm going to green, I'm going to end with brown. Okay, now I'm looking at that dark hill. I don't want that to bleed into the sky, so I'm going to do the foreground first. I'm going to come up here and do my green with brown in the foreground. Ugh, I don't know about that color. I'm thinking that's more of down here. So down here, I'll do that color, okay? I got my mossy green. It's not quite as mossy as I wanted. So I'm gonna add some more water. I'm gonna go back to adding maybe a lighter green. I'm gonna start with the green grass. Then we're gonna slowly get darker. When the sky dries, we're going to add the dark green with brown on the hill. Okay, but right now we're working on the foreground, working on some grasses, a nice bright green, closest to us that gets lighter near where the light is hitting it here on the horizon line. Now I'm gonna do a really light layer right there of green, then I'm gonna dunk, I'm gonna try all the different shades of green, okay? We're adding different layers of different shades for dimension. Now, you never want to stick with one shade of green. If you don't have this palette and you're downstairs in my lower elementary art class, we're going up and down to do grasses here, and you can use your palette, your lid, if you just have even the primary colors. You can get your colors, bring it to your lid, clean your brush, mix orange or red with green, and you're gonna get an army green. So I want to be able to teach you guys, no matter what you're working on, with what supplies you have, how to mix colors and to get different tints and shades. Now I'm going to go up and down to do grass. I'm going to dab it on. The dab, remember, it's not only a dance move, it's an art move. And we're going to make this look like frayed grass in the foreground. Over here I have some grass in the middle ground. Okay, a little grassy knoll here. And then in the background, this grassy hill. Ooh, this is like a grassy hill here. That's going to be way darker. I'm just starting to lay out and plan out where my greens are going to end before I add that darker layer. Okay, as you can see, it's way darker here. So you ready to go to the next color? Yeah, let's do it. All right. Okay, we start with our lighter green. We're going to slowly go up and get darker. And I'm adding some dark brown here with the green to do the middle ground. Ooh, that's nice and dark. And the hills here. Now the thing is, if your hill is going to touch your sky, it's going to bleed out. And that's why I left some areas that are not painted in my sky, because I'm going to then get my control drip and bring it down to the horizon line afterwards. I'm just trying to do this really short tutorial video lesson without having to stop video the camera. So you can like stop it, pause it, join in with this lesson with whatever stage you're on of painting. Now I wanted to show you though, if I'm going to add this green and go up on this hill, how it bleeds into the sky, and how, if you guys, all my students, like you guys, come on, everybody admit it, some of you have a hard time of stopping painting once you got your colors going. You're not going to want to stop. If it gets fuzzed out on the sky, where it touches the sky, you can do what I'm doing, little teeny dots. Dab it on so it looks like trees, foliage on your hill. Ooh. All right, got that? So we're kind of dabbing it on shades of green. Then we're going to come across. I'm going to add another shade of green now. Some more water as we go. And I'm going to drip this green right across here. All right, ooh. I'm going to come down. Because right now we're working on down here having some green, grassy areas, which obviously is in Iceland. Is this Iceland? Yeah, this is Iceland, guys. All right, so now under here I'm going to get some of that green and do some stripes to show some depth. All right, I'm going to finish up this quick tutorial of how to do this scene before I end with color pencils and doing layering for fine details like those little flowers in the foreground. Okay, so I'm finishing up by doing a layer blue. I'm working really fast. I'm going to add some personal expression of probably a bird flying down and right there later. But I wanted to make this video lesson very short so you guys can all follow along and finish a masterpiece at your own pace. So I repeat, if I'm going too fast, pause the video lesson. I want to see my black rocks through the blue. So if I get too dark, you guys tell me, what do I do? Yes, I'm going to dab that up with a tissue. And I'll show you how to do that next. So we're going to go straight down with some of the blue for the waterfall. Now I'm going to go back and forth with the blue for the water in the foreground. Okay, layering down with the waterfall. Okay, I don't have any white yet. How I'm going to get the white? We're going to end with the dab. We're going to dab it up. Okay. All right, so we've gone back and forth. Now we're going to get the tissue. You could spin the tissue and make the end ready to dab up where you want your white. So look at your waterfalls. If you don't show any of the white, go down and do some of the white lines now, where you're now lifting up some of the color. Now up here, you want it to look like the white water rapids. You're gonna go across right there. You can't see the black rocks, so dab it up. Make it so these waterfalls are coming down where you want them to down, come across and show some mist. Okay, so they're coming down. So in the direction, just like you would paint, when you use your paper towel to dab up, you go across, and wherever you're lifting the paint, you're using paper towel, okay, for the light hitting the water. Okay, my last thing is what I'm going to do now. It's going to add a little more pink and yellow, and I'm going to cover up where I didn't do it earlier. Ooh, that's a little too bright, so I'm going to add a little more. And where the pink mixes with the yellow is where I'm going to dab that on for the sunset, and I'm going to do a little more reflection in the water. Okay, so wherever you have the white of the page showing, remember I've taught you guys that's not how the artists do it. Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Monet, all the artists in the galleries never show the white of the canvas. So that's where I want you to look really closely now and see where you need to cover with paint. Mix the color on there if you need to. Reflect it in the water if you add some more in the sky so you get some more depth in your art, right? Then if it puddles up and you get too much, you can A, do what? Rock it. B, dab it up. Okay, I'm using another part of my tissue. I'm dabbing it up so it looks like a cloud. Ooh, kind of looks like a cloud. Okay, so that's the whole idea, is you can then add some clouds near the horizon line. Right there, I'm going to dab it up and add some clouds so they look like I have clouds near the horizon line. Okay, right now I'm going to twist the end and have a little reflection here. And my last thing, I'm twisting the end. I'm going to dab up where I'm going to add flowers. Okay, final step, probably let this dry, your amazing masterpiece, and then you can either use a Sharpie marker with hot pink or red or any color. I'm going to be inspired by Claude Monet, the poppies, and do some red with orange from when I lived in California, and the poppies were the state flower, and we'd see them growing all over, really pretty. So I'm going to do what's called the dab. I'm dabbing on some flowers there. I'm going to go over the edge, Put some in the foreground a little bigger, kind of like Monet did, where the flowers are bigger in the foreground. We're getting lighter in the distance. Now I'm going to wipe off some on the brush, twist the brush, and I'm going to go from bigger, slowly middle, into my smaller flowers are right over there looking in the water. See what I'm doing? Like that? That's called the dab in art. So I'm adding a lot more flowers because I think flowers are beautiful. They're going to go right over the edge. Then I have this orange on here, this orangey red, and I'm going to try to add a little depth in my rocks. Where I have rocks, I'm adding a little darker color and finishing up by just adding a little black so that my rocks, where the waterfalls are coming from, have some depth by adding your darkest dark to your lightest light, and some depth on here by adding your rocks where your watercolors or your waterfalls are falling from is going to help darken up those rocks for your dimension in art. Alright, so I'm just finishing up fine details, and I can't wait to see your masterpiece. Your next thing is, I'm going to draw some birds flying, darken up this hill with a different tone. And I'd like to hear what you're going to add to yours for personal expression. Ooh, personal expression, how to tell a story in your art. I am going to maybe make a wolf howling or put a cross on that hill when it's dry, and I add my fine details in colored pencil. So stay tuned for more art lessons with Mrs. Smith, your art teacher, and we're going to work on more and more different masterpieces. Right now we're trying to get good at watercolor, and then we're going to launch into a thicker paint called acrylic. Moving out from the art lesson, my friends.